So, week 1, and I'm off and running, and I'm pretty harsh on myself. That's why it takes me so long to write. Okay, we just broke 18,000 words. Sort of modern Gothic cathedral sort of vibe. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to another video. As you can probably tell from the title of the video, I made kind of a big decision and I have officially started a writing course. This is very exciting for me. My biggest issue, and I think I talked about this in my previous writing vlog, is accountability. I don't have writers in my circle. I've never really joined a writing group. I've been to like a couple of workshops in the past, but like other than like one-off little things once a year where I maybe go somewhere for like a week at the most, I'm not like on a daily basis reminded to write or surrounded by people who write. And I have time. That's what's crazy, is I have oodles of time. I don't have any kids. I don't have any like major obligations in life. There's no excuse. I just don't do it, even though I know I should. And becoming a published author, however that may look, self-published, traditional published, whatever, has been my goal since I was like 10. I literally sent off a story to Scholastic when I was like 10 years old. It was horrible. It wasn't even a full story. It was like a couple of chapters or something. I had no concept of publication. I just knew that like I wanted my words and my story in book form. I have signed up for the July cohort on Reedsy. It's 101 days. It's just called the How to Write a Novel course. It's described like an accelerated MFA program, and I'm not going back to school. Like, I have a BA in English Lit. I'm not going back and getting myself into more debt to do a traditional MFA program. I'm just not. The average like MFA program in America, it's not cheap. I'm just not interested in spending that money right now, when I know that if I just buckle down and I give myself some resources, I can probably do it on my own. In fact, I know I can, because I've done it before. I've written a couple of manuscripts, 2 specifically. I didn't quite finish my 3rd. I got maybe like half or 3/4 of the way through, and then kind of wrote myself into a big plot hole. I've already written so much more than what I normally would, and I think it's because as soon as you put like a little bit of pressure on me, all of a sudden I can get more work done. I don't know if you guys are like that too. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it on my own. I haven't yet so far. I've gotten a little discouraged over the years, and I've let myself get distracted by work obligations and things that don't even really, at the end of the day, don't mean as much to me as my actual writing. With this course, I have to write 1,000 words a day, which is a lot of words a day. So this writing course is maybe gonna change my life if I actually follow through with it.
First publishing, we also love writing, so we used to go and read manuscripts and fly with reading from A to Z. So I commissioned probably over around 100 titles or so, and edited those and carry on editing.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just
Hello guys and gals. I realize it's kind of coming to the end of the week and I have yet to do a check-in. So thoughts on week 1. I'm feeling pretty good about it, liking it so far. I can already tell that it's going to be a lot of work, but I think it really is going to keep me accountable. The live sessions thankfully aren't like Zoom. I was a little bit concerned the other day. I think it's Wednesday when they do live sessions, and I hadn't like gotten ready for the day or anything, so I was really nervous because I didn't know if it was like if we were gonna have to be on camera, but we're not. You don't have to be on camera, you just show up. Tom Bromley, he does the like all the lesson prep. He's basically the teacher, and so he does all the lesson prep, and then he talks for about an hour, and then we're just in a live chat that's like on the side of the screen, which is really convenient, so we can be like asking questions or just like commenting on things that come up and still sort of actively be participating. I think each week it's probably going to focus on a different like topic for writing. This week obviously it was week 1, and so it was just like an overview of the course. So we did get kind of a sneak peek of some of the authors who are going to be coming on, like guest authors. So I might try to sneak in a little listen to one of their audiobooks if I can, because I'm sure there's going to be like a session for like questions and stuff, I would think. I just like the way that he kind of breaks down the whole process and then he gives examples, because I've watched videos on like the writing process. I've read so many books on the writing process. The way writers describe things, sometimes it's just very abstract and it's kind of like hard to get your brain around, but because Tom gives so many examples from actual books that he has there, like he gives like specific excerpts that he'll read from, you get it because you have like a literal tangible example. And I've actually read quite a few of the books that he has mentioned and like brought up to use like during his video lessons. Like I know Queenie was on there the other day. Exit West was another one that he mentioned. Sorrow and Bliss was one that was just in this recent video. Cool. Oh, Luster. Luster was another one that he mentioned the other day. It's so good. So to already be familiar a little bit with the examples that he's giving makes me feel like I'm very well read. It always feels good to feel like you're reading widely, because that's something that he recommends, is to make sure that you're reading like a writer. When you've read so much, you just can't help but notice when things are either going wrong or going well. So week 1, and I'm off and running. I had already outlined, I think I have it right here actually, basically like a chapter by chapter sort of situation, just because I like to know where I'm going. I'm definitely a plotter, not a pantser. Things always inevitably go off the rails like the deeper I get into the story, but at least in the beginning I have to kind of know like the general direction that I'm going in. Like I would not get in the car going somewhere I've never been and like not put it in Google Maps, you know? I'm not just gonna like start driving and try to like figure it out as I go. So it is gonna help, I think, having already made my little journal. I always have this to kind of lean back on. I'll be really interested to maybe do some feedback with somebody. They do feedback Fridays. I missed it this week, but I will make sure to follow the post and make sure that I get in there for next week. There are a few other people, I think, writing fantasy. I'm very curious to see what people are going to say. He was talking about how it's probably better to, he was kind of talking about like imposter syndrome, even though he didn't exactly use those words, but he was basically saying how he would rather a student be maybe kind of a little confused or not so confident in their writing, rather than somebody who is, because it's usually the student who is overconfident in their writing that he has to be concerned about, because they don't always have like the sort of like inner critic part. They're not able to see where things need to be tweaked as easily as somebody who's like more hard on their self. And I'm pretty harsh on myself. I self-edit as I go. That's why it takes me so long to write. That's another thing that I'm kind of concerned about, honestly, is writing 1,000 words a day is a lot. Like I said, I had a little bit of a head start. I have a feeling it's gonna catch up to me quickly. But yeah, I self-edit as I go, so it just takes me a really long time. It could literally take me hours sometimes just to write a paragraph, so that's a little concerning, but that will be a bridge that we cross when we come to it. Hopefully the bridge doesn't crumble and I drown. At the end of the day, I think it's a really exciting opportunity. As nervous as I am, I think it's gonna be a really good thing in the end. Because this is actually really good. This is some really good dialogue. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty proud of this dialogue. This little scene. I'm cooking.
Mr. Krabs, when you gonna let me off this grill and let me cook for real?
I'm cooking for real. It is the next day. I think I'm in the same spot that I left you in yesterday. I really want to make today a writing day, like a heavy writing day, because I feel like I've been all over the place doing other things, procrastinating. As soon as you actually have the time to sit down, you end up wanting to you end up remembering all the things that you also need to be doing, and those all of a sudden seem very exciting, like doing the laundry and cleaning the bathroom and dumb stuff that you don't ever normally want to do. I have just put the card up on the wall for chapter 5. I was able to finish that last night. I stayed up, I think it was only like midnight. It wasn't too late. And then I'm just starting on chapter 6. So I actually have quite a bit of dialogue from a scene between the main character and one of the professors at this school that she's accepted the offer into.
Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now.
Good morning, friends. I'm gonna make this clip kind of quick because I'm sure you can hear the laundry in the background. I wanted to, let me log in real quick, give you guys an update for yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty good writing day. I finished chapter 5, and I wanted to show you guys the like Reedsy book editor. It's really great because it tracks your word count, but it doesn't just track how many words, because obviously like Google Docs or Microsoft Word does that too. But it shows you like how many words you've added in that day, like what day of the week, so you could figure out if there's like a day that you're more productive. It also shows the words that you've taken away, and then it has your goal overall, and so it gives you like your percentage of how close you are, which numbers can be kind of scary if you're not hitting the goals, but overall it's a good motivator because it's like visual representation. Just like how I've put chapters that I finished on the wall, it's like a visual representation of how far along you're getting. So that's nice. Story time. You want to hear something gross? He woke up with a dried turd on his butt this morning. Clung to the little hairs on his behind. Yeah. So the laundry, it's all the pillowcases and the sheets. So I'm always learning like random fun words if I'm trying to find like a synonym for a word, which I don't do often because you can definitely tell when a writer does that, but every now and then I'll look up, and try to find like a different version of a word. And this is not a word that I need to use, but it's a fun one. Confabulation. I recommend looking that up. Okay, we just broke 18,000 words. I always like seeing the next 1,000 words roll over. There's something kind of satisfying about that. Which, it'll always change because sometimes things get taken away, but that means we're at 18% of the way to 100,000. So that's nice. So a really fun little scene that I'm about to write is going to have a very brief description of the bedroom in this academy, and something I've been doing for a while now, printing them out in my little journal, but also keeping them on Pinterest because that's where I'm finding them. So here's like some of the interiors, very like dark academic, like exactly what you think of, but with like stained glass and like a very gothic, sort of modern gothic cathedral sort of vibe. The bedrooms are also very like lavish. Anyway, I'll put some pictures on the screen. The main character's in her room. She's just kind of like sketching in a sketchbook. So I love little scenes like that, even if it's just a couple of sentences of description of like it raining or like candles burning or some sort of smell or texture. I love adding those little like physical details to a place because I am very much a tactile person, and so I don't feel grounded in a story if the author has not made any kind of effort to add in tactile details. So I'm gonna get to writing this little description. Okay, I think I'm gonna break for lunch. It's been a little bit. I've been writing in a way that's kind of scattered, like the scenes themselves that I'm writing aren't really, because typically I like to write chronologically. It just makes sense for my brain. And I feel like it kind of helps me plant foreshadowing and then also prevent plot holes. Anyway, I've kind of been going, or I guess not going back, but jumping ahead to things that will come along at some point in like future chapters. I think I'm ready for a little bit of a break, getting hungry for lunch, and then I might pick out what book that I want to read next, because I just finished a book last night. So it's time to start a new one.
Just spent the last, I think actually like 4 years developing the voice for that story.